Hey everyone, so today we're going to pull back the curtain on the amazing and, yeah, sometimes kind of confusing world of loose leaf tea. If you've ever looked at a wall of tea and just had no idea where to even start, you're in the right place. We're about to make it all super simple. You know that feeling, right? You walk into a tea shop or you're scrolling online and it's just endless. You've got names like Dragonwell, Darjeeling, Yokoro, and it's easy to just feel totally lost. But what if I told you there's one simple secret that unlocks the entire thing? It's actually way more straightforward than you think. And here it is. This is the big secret. Every single true tea in the world, and we'll talk about what true means in just a second, every single one comes from this one plant. That's it. White tea, green tea, black tea, all of them. Once you get that, everything else just clicks into place. And this is the star of the show, Camellia sinensis. It's an amazing evergreen plant, and it's the source of it all. So all that incredible diversity in flavor and color, it doesn't come from different species of plants. Nope. It's all about what we do to the leaves after they're picked. That's where the magic happens. Okay, so this is a really important distinction to make. On one hand, you have true tea. This is anything that comes from that Camellia sinensis plant, and it's all got caffeine naturally. Then you have what are called herbal teas or sometimes tisanes. These are infusions of, well, basically anything else. Chamomile flowers, peppermint leaves, rooibos root, you name it. They're usually caffeine-free. Both are delicious, for sure, but only one is technically tea. And this really shows you what we're talking about. On the left, you see these gorgeous, manicured gardens of the Camellia sinensis plant. That's where true tea is born. And on the right, bright, beautiful chamomile flowers. Two completely different plants, leading to two completely different but equally wonderful drinks. So, if it all comes from the same plant, how in the world do we get such a crazy range of flavors? I mean, from a light, grassy green tea to a dark, rich black tea. Well, the answer comes down to one beautiful, natural process: oxidation. So what is oxidation? The easiest way to think about it is to picture a sliced apple. You cut it open, leave it on the counter, and what happens? It starts to turn brown, right? That's oxidation. It's the enzymes in the fruit reacting with oxygen. Tea makers have just mastered how to control that exact same process to create specific flavors. And this image just says it all. Look at this spectrum. Over on the left, you've got your white and green teas. They see almost no oxidation, which is why they stay green and have those fresh, bright vegetal flavors. Then in the middle, you have oolongs, which are partially oxidized. They can be anywhere from light and floral to dark and roasty. And all the way on the right, you have black tea. It's fully oxidized, which gives it that deep, dark color and those rich, malty notes. It's all just a matter of how long you let that browning process go on. So we've got the science down, but there's also an incredible amount of art and craftsmanship that goes into every cup. So let's actually follow a leaf on its journey, from the moment it's picked to the moment it lands in your cup. It all starts in these absolutely breathtaking tea gardens, often way up high in the mountains. For the really good stuff, the highest quality teas, workers pluck only the youngest, most tender leaves from the very top of the plant, usually just the top 2 leaves and a little bud. And it's often done by hand with incredible precision. So after the leaves are picked, their transformation begins. First, they're withered, which just lets them get a little soft and limp. Then comes the rolling. Now this step is crucial. Rolling bruises the leaves just enough to break the cell walls and kickstart that whole oxidation process we talked about. This is really where the tea's core flavor starts to develop. Finally, the leaves are hit with heat. This drying process stops oxidation right in its tracks, locking in that perfect flavor the tea maker was going for. And you've got to remember, this isn't some automated factory process. This is a true craft. A skilled tea maker is using all their senses. They're feeling the leaves, smelling them, watching their color change, to know the exact moment to move from one step to the next. It's all about creating a very specific, delicious result. Okay, so you get the basics now, but let's be real. You're back in that tea shop, staring at that giant wall of choices. How do you actually pick a tea that you're gonna love? Let's break it down into a few easy steps. I saw this quote on Reddit, and it is just perfect advice for any beginner. It says, you don't pick out good quality tea leaves, you pick a vendor who you trust to provide you with good tea. And that just takes all the pressure off, right? Your job isn't to be an expert on day one. Your job is just to find a person or a shop that you trust and let them be the expert for you. So what's your game plan? First off, start with samplers. It is the absolute best way to try a bunch of different things without having to buy a huge bag of something you might not like. Find a local tea shop or a trusted online store and make them your guide. And seriously, don't be afraid to ask questions. Tell them what you like. If you already enjoy fruity flavors, maybe they can point you to a certain oolong. If you like roasted, smoky notes, they'll have something for that too. Use what you already know you enjoy.
All right, you did it. You picked a tea, you brought it home. Now for the last piece of the puzzle, making sure you brew it right and store it properly. And trust me, this part is super easy.
Here are 4 dead simple steps to an amazing cup of tea. 1. Always use fresh, cold water. 2. A good starting point is about 1 teaspoon of tea for every cup of water. 3. Pay attention to the water temperature. This is a huge game changer. For delicate green and white teas, use water that's hot but not boiling. It prevents them from getting bitter. For black and oolong teas, a full boil is totally fine. And 4, watch your clock. Most teas only need 2 to 5 minutes. Oversteeping is probably the #1 mistake people make, and it's the fastest way to get a bitter cup. And after you've brewed your cup, you gotta protect those precious leaves. Think of your tea as having 5 arch enemies: light, air, moisture, odors, and heat. Any of those things will make it go stale super fast. So what's the best defense? A simple, airtight container that you can't see through. Stick it in a cool, dark cabinet away from your spices, and your tea will stay fresh and delicious for a long, long time. So there you have it. The secret's out. The entire vast world of tea all comes from one amazing plant, transformed by a little bit of science and a whole lot of art. So now that you're in on the secret, what's it going to be? Which tea are you going to try first? Happy steeping!